Oh, we are live. I forgot to play the intro. Welcome to Scoreboard X Podcast.
This guy, man, he has a kid.
We promise we're
He
professional.
completely catches us with our pants down. TJ doesn't even have pants on. I don't think.
We have an exciting show for you today. We're going to talk Yankees, Giants, Jets, and Nick and TJ are going to talk about how Mike Westhoff taught them how special teams should be done.
Hold on a second. I just can't live like this.
There's bit more.
Listening to this Belly Up Sports Podcast Network product. Some said we go belly up, so we made it our name, and we're still here.
Cheers.
Cheers. You can't see me, but I'm lifting up a beer.
Shout out to my cousin Brian and his lovely wife Courtney, welcoming their third baby boy into the world, Rowan Mullins. Big shout out. Absolutely. Everybody's having babies. What's going on, Nick?
I specifically asked him to name his child Nick, and he didn't.
Well, he wanted his kid to have a future. I mean, come on.
I'm back.
That's rude. My dad's a very successful man.
I'm not dancing up and down.
I know, and we're still trying to figure out what happened, where the fall off happened. The apple fell off the tree and got kicked.
Speaking of dads,
booted.
TJ and I talking about dads and NFL week 2. TJ and I spent week 2 with our dads and
Absolutely.
Coach Mike Westhoff, who's the father of
baby.
teams. And let's talk. Talk to me about that because
I don't know about the father. I'm thinking the godfather of special teams. I mean, when he invited us to sit down and watch the game with him, like I was waiting for him to pull out his hand and I was gonna have to kiss a pinky ring because I mean, what an epic moment. And then just to hang out with the guy and watch a Jets game and have him break it down for us. And then after the Jets pull off that awesome onside kick, or rather not onside kick, fake punt. Well, the fake punt first. The fake punt first, and then the onside kick. And then I asked him, like, is that out of necessity, or did the defense show them something that they could pull it off? And he literally busted out a napkin, drew us that play, and explained to us, like, this is how they had their defense set up. So they pretty much invited it over.
He's like, oh, I would have had my jammers like right there. That's a dead play with my special teams.
Dude, I mean, and then to watch that awesome Jets win with him and celebrate, and with the Jets Lounge guys, the Sack Exchange, all those dudes, awesome people. It was an awesome time. Lobo Loco, we ordered literally, I think we might have eaten all the wings in Lobo Loco.
It was a plate of 62 wings.
They served it on a pizza tray. On something that you'd bring out at like Lee's Tavern to hold your pie. And it's like, nah, we're just gonna load this up with wing. We're gonna make a tower of wings.
Lee's Tavern is more like hold your cracker.
Listen, don't you dare
fucking gross
ever talk bad about Lee's.
I just did. It's trash. All right, it's a Lunchables fucking pizza, no crust.
You're a Lunchables pizza.
I might be. But yeah, shout out to the Jet Lounge, Sack Exchange, Justin, Anthony, great dudes.
Yep.
Everybody else over at Jet Lounge, and we had a great time. And honestly, we went there kind of like not knowing what to expect. We figured we'd get to talk to Coach. I mean, we talked to Coach a few times at this point. He's been on the show twice already. We spent about 3.5 hours, 4 hours talking to him. 3 are recorded, but we've had some long conversations with Coach prior to the show or after the show. So we've definitely talked to Coach for a bit, but actually finally meeting him face to face. I mean, we're little fish in this large pond of sports entertainment, and I didn't expect him to remember us all that well, but he saw us and immediately was like, I know you guys. Probably couldn't remember our names because we're like one of hundreds of faces or two of hundreds of faces that he comes across on a regular basis, but he knew our faces. Like he saw our faces and was like, I know you guys. Hey, what's going on?
Yeah, we've been haunting him.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, we bought his book, the hard copy. We obviously did the audio book, and it was friggin' awesome.
Yeah.
And about halftime, we're sitting down watching the game, the first half with our pops. TJ brought his dad, I brought my dad.
Yeah.
And we're and about halftime, I got up to just ask coach about that punt, about that fake punt. Like, hey, well, what do you think about special teams so far? And I'm talking to him and I'm squatting down because I don't want him looking up at me. He's sitting down with his friend Chris, who's a former scout and defensive assistant.
Another awesome guy.
Yeah, another great guy. And TJ comes over and he looks at us and he goes, guys, sit down, get a good angle on the TV. TJ takes Chris's seat.
The opportunity was there, dude.
He didn't know it was Chris's seat.
Listen, I did not, but coach drew a play. He pointed at the hole in the defense, and I went running.
But coach invited us to sit down, and we sat down. For a whole half of football. We should have taken.
I actually got up at one point to just go acknowledge our fathers because I felt bad like ditching them. Not that they cared at all. They were having a grand old time BSing and whatnot. And when I went over there, the Jets started driving, getting first down after first down, and I'm like, I can't leave now. I got to stand here with you guys.
So my dad's retired and your dad is retired. I think we should leave them at like daddy daycare with one another because they really enjoyed each other's company.
Listen, we figured out that the Doyles and the Velasquezes are always supposed to be fucking, boys. Our families were always connected. Apparently, my uncle and Nick's father served in Desert Storm, same place, same time. And the way your father was saying it, he's like, your uncle had to be one of 20 people that were deployed at that time. He goes like the rarity in that is insane. So just for that to happen. And then my father was showing me the text between my uncle. He took a picture of your dad. He goes, I don't remember them allowing people that old in the Marines.
And your dad was just like, it was fucking 30 something years ago, idiot.
Listen, the Doyles have jokes.
But
that's all we got, but we got them.
What an amazing day. It was awesome to
be
man. With Jets fans. Always good to be with fans, right? I mean,
dude, got to share that with Coach Westhoff. We got to share it with fellow Jet fans. Okay, people that we follow on Twitter and are very influential in our Twitter experience as far as Jet fans. Got to spend a day with our fathers, and the Jets win in, I would say, a heroic fashion. So,
21 years.
Dude, what a game. What a game. What a day. Got a book signed. Got a little piece of history. If you guys haven't checked it out already, if you're a sports fan, if you're a Jet fan, if you're a coach, whether it's pee-wee football, high school football, even college football, I very much suggest you check out Coach Westall's book. Figure it out. Awesome read. We both we'll die on the hill of definitely get the audio book and let Coach read it to you himself because it's like having a conversation with an old friend. Absolutely awesome. Great way to commute to work, in my opinion. I mean, it kept me busy. So I actually look forward to getting stuck in traffic.
Yeah, it's and one thing we both agreed about this, T. One thing I wanted to rehash is, I'm sorry, but Coach needs to be in the Hall of Fame.
100%. You know what? You can't change the way the game is played. You can't change the way, essentially, a forgotten, I guess, aspect of the game, a game that's often overlooked before Coach Westhoff took control and started doing these crazy plays and just setting up in a way. And then obviously the 08-09 Jets, the amount of friggin' kick and punt returns and who you had out there, like Leon Washington. I mean, they revolutionized the game so much so that they had to literally change some of the rules and make the game, I guess, a little more boring, which is bullshit. And even Coach agreed that like they kind of killed it. They essentially made that part of the game less exciting. But even still, I mean, what you get out of special teams, that doesn't come by accident. It's all well drawn up. It's practiced nonstop. You can't just go out there and pull off a fake punt. You can't just go out there and pull off an onside kick. Dude, when he set up that ball for the onside kick on its side, just send it spinning like that. The perfection that's in that, I couldn't do that by accident, even on a bad punt or a bad kickoff.
I did not think he was going to the left. When was the last time you saw them kick an onside kick to the left?
Yeah, dude. I mean, and again, they ruined the whole pop it up in the air because the defense has to play the ball first, which is a joke. Coach Westhoff was letting us know that the NFL actually reached out to him about some rules and what he thought, and he told him straight out that he thinks that the ball should only have to travel 5 yards, and both teams should have to, make a mad dash between, coming from each way, 5 yards one way, five yards the other way, and make it more exciting. And I couldn't agree more. I mean, can you imagine that? But again, that goes against their safety, and you have huge men running at each other full speed. But the last time I checked, it's a sport, and you want to see guys at the peak of performance attacking each other for the ball. I mean, is that not what the point is? Is that not the purpose?
Well, listen, that Jets comeback was one for the ages. I mean, that was incredible. Be down 13 with less than 2 minutes to go. Flacco leads them down. They get the onside kick, and then they get the touchdown again. Garrett Wilson, is he your new favorite Jet, Nick? I feel like you were big on Garrett Wilson being drafted, and he had a pretty big game this week.
Is he my new favorite Jet? No. Honestly, I think my favorite Jet is Sauce Gardner right now. Somewhere between Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed. I'm a defense guy, so Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed. I'm wearing a throwback Deion Sanders Florida State jersey. So maybe Jermaine Johnson when he kicks into next gear, because he's got at least half a sack already on the season.
So you already called him Sauce then. You're giving him his sauce back instead of
Ahmad. I mean, listen, the first 2 games that he's played, Ahmad Gardner's been lights out. Absolutely.
Yeah, dude.
Our soft spot of our defense right now is our safeties. Nothing you can do about that right now. They are who they are, and that's it. Unless you trade for somebody like Bates from the Bengals, which I don't think that's going to happen.
Never.
Then that's what it is. It is who it is, and that's who they are, and that's what they got.
So you got another.
All I know is they called me crazy when I said Jets plus 6.5.
No one called you crazy.
Oh, dude, I was feeling crazy on that pick. It was just how do you not? How do you not?
Great.
Is that
how do you not on that situation?
So,
I'm going to presume that's Andrew.
What's that?
From Divots and Pivots?
Yeah, I think it's Andrew. He said, I look at the Rook right now, and the jingle "Real Men of Genius" keeps popping in my head with that baby carrier on. I know
Rook's rocking the baby Bjorn right now.
Ooh. Hold on. Let me throw in an echo. Let's do a Real Men of Genius situation right here. Hold on.
I'm like Vince Vaughn in Old School. He's like, earmuffs. You can say anything you want. Shit, piss, fuck,
chick, balls, cock, balls. All right, I'm making a point, Frank. You don't got to celebrate it.
Andrew said yes, it is him.
Hey.
And then Matt said, finally, the Rook has come back. Thank you, Matt. Thanks for the warm welcome, guys. I appreciate it. It's been a while.
I forgot who you were.
I know.
You're like the drummer from Ari. You're like the drummer from REO Speedwagon. Nobody knows you.
Is this too echoey?
She's on my chest right now because I got the feeding duty at 10 o'clock, so I'll be feeding the baby during. That's why I keep going out with the picture.
Duty.
Here we go. So, hold on. Here we go, Rook. Real Man of Genius, Mr. Baby Bjorn wearer.
Baby Bjorn.
It's Bjorn.
Here's to you. It's man who has to get on a podcast with his children.
And drink a beer.
Soft J. It's a soft J like yogging.
Yeah,
dude. Whatever. Who gives a shit? It's foreign. I'm allowed to misspell it or mispronounce it. I really couldn't care less. Okay?
Isn't that a Scandinavian singer, Bjorn?
She's a singer, yeah. She's a singer too.
Isn't she? She's crazy, right? Isn't that the one was going nuts?
Yeah, I think she's a little nuts. She's a little crazy.
Like, didn't she have a situation at the airport or something like that? Went crazy at LAX, was like attacking a photographer.
I didn't hear that, but I wouldn't put it past her.
Allegedly, then we'll throw the allegedly out there.
Allegedly, yeah, throw the allegedly out there.
But yeah, great game from Flacco. After TJ absolutely destroyed Flacco last week, he comes back,
well deserved,
football and stuffs it in TJ's mouth. Along with another.
Did he say after the game something like, "I don't lose in Cleveland"? He said something like that.
I think that was every Jets fan that was hoping they would win.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, that's I mean, the only person that could sit here and say, I don't lose any place. It's obviously the Packers and the Bears. I mean,
that too.
Who's your daddy? Continues.
He's like the Pedro. Sorry, the Yankees to Pedro Martinez is Aaron Rodgers to the Bears.
Yeah.
Who's my daddy?
But
unbelievable.
Or my daddy.
Aaron Rodgers plays a great game. Garrett Wilson, an incredible game. First receiver in Jets history to have 2 touchdowns and over 100 yards in his first 2 games. And he gets the game winner. He gets the game winner. Breece Hall, 7.1 yards per carry, but didn't break 100, which kind of sucked just because I wanted him to. We haven't really had that in a while.
It's funny too because the Jets defense didn't play as good as they played week 1, which was surprising. Not that they played bad, but they were definitely more vulnerable in this game, and they allowed Cleveland a lot more yards than I thought they were going to allow them to gain, especially in the air. Which was surprising to me, which was, essentially why, other than going to the game and being able to watch it with you and your father, my dad, and Coach Westhoff, obviously picking that just, luck of the draw, might as well, enjoy the situation. And if they win, get a win on my bet as well. But I really thought that the Jets defense was going to hold Cleveland, to a lot less yards, especially in the air. And Cleveland definitely exposed them a little bit, but we saw what happened. The Jets were able to battle back. Got a little lucky on that touchdown to bring them within 6. I mean, just a total blown coverage over the top. Just nobody there. Like it looked like
Cleveland's gonna Cleveland.
Yeah, dude. It's literally like, hey, did we have 11 out there? Did somebody forget to go on the field because there was nobody over there?
If you're the defensive coordinator, you're definitely looking at that play over again and counting immediately, like 1, 2, 3, 4. What the hell?
It was just nobody dude, like, hey, nobody wants to cover him. Oh, okay, cool. No problem.
Shoot out of practice.
Listen, that's what happens when you play too much zone.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you play too much zone. That cornerback let him go thinking he had the safety back there covering that corner, and he did not have him. The safety was sitting there.
Nobody was home.
Sitting there playing center field, and it was just a lob pass. Not even like I'm going to hit him in stride kind of pass. It was
nothing, dude. He was just
he got time to stop, catch the ball, and then jog. Excuse me, jog.
Dude. That might have been one of the easiest. What was that, like a 60-yard TD?
Yeah, it was. It was a 60-yard pass. Like, I think it was like 35 yards in the air or something like that, 40 yards in the air. And he caught it like standing still damn near. He caught it like doing like a 2-step and then yogged the rest of the way into the end zone. Like wild. And Nick Chubb scoring, if he falls down, they lose. Like if he doesn't score there, the Jets lose.
Yeah, absolutely.
He did us a favor. Thank you, Nick Chubb.
We appreciate it.
You gave me a chub by letting us win. Appreciate it.
We'll have Stafford.
Any other comments about the win? I mean, it's a huge comeback win, but
I honestly said all that needs to be said. I mean,
we were talking to Coach. We were talking to Coach, and I asked Coach, like, "Are you Steelers fan?" And he's like, "Nah, I couldn't work over there." So I was kind of asking him, like, "Do you lose being a fan when you get a professional?" He's like, "No, because I'm still a Jets fan, but I'm not a Miami fan." I'm like, "Do you kind of like limit your fandom to who you could work for because you know the guys that are involved?" He's like, "Not really. Like, I guess it's kind of like I became a Jets fan because I enjoyed my time there so much that I'm like attached to it." And
listen, he definitely embraced the New York atmosphere, right? I mean,
we were there, and he was when they won, he's a little subdued. Like he wasn't going crazy. Obviously, how many wins has he seen in his career?
Yeah.
But he did get a little fist pump, a little like, let's go, see a 74-year-old man get fired up like that.
Dude, talk about a 74-year-old man. His high fives were crisp. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Real crisp.
Oh, yeah.
How is the Jets line? Obviously, I don't know if you guys spoke about it already, but I got up for a little bit. But was it like fired up when that comeback happened? Like how crazy was it?
Oh, my God, yeah.
Well,
the place went bananas.
Yeah.
Justin posted the video. Let me see if I can pull up the video of the win.
But while you get that video up, because I don't want to waste dead air, let's start moving into week 2. Other big stories. I mean, Miami coming back against the Ravens. That game was insane. Yep. 2 through 6 touchdowns. They scored late too to get that win. I couldn't believe that the Ravens blew that. Then you also have the Raiders and the Cardinals. the Cardinals, they were trailing by like 20-something points.
Mhm.
And they came back and won that game in overtime too. So 2 huge comebacks by kind of like 2 quarterbacks that are kind of on the hot seat. Like everyone thinks Tua has no arm. We think he can't really throw the ball. He comes back, those 6 touchdowns, and you had Kyler Murray who got that huge contract. And everyone's thinking, he's got to have a little fire under his seat if they're going to go start 0-2. And they end up getting the win out of that. So I know it was pretty crazy comebacks again. Another wild week in the NFL.
You know what was great with the Kyler Murray thing? Somebody said that Kyler Murray, when he runs with the ball, looks like a child who's stole his parents' cell phone and they're trying to get away. And I'll be goddamned if that ain't the truth.
But you know what? I was actually surprised that the Cowboys winning against the Bengals. I mean, again, I think it further cements my maybe shitty opinion that Dak is not the guy. Dak is not. He's nothing. You can't hang your hat on him as a quarterback. And as much as Dallas fans want to pump him up, dude, I would take a Tony Romo out of the booth running plays because at least he understands where you're going with the ball. But clearly the Cowboys can win without him. I don't know if they can win with him. So maybe a little drama in Dallas land.
Bengals offensive line is complete trash, though. Like it is really bad.
But listen, everybody thought the Bengals were winning that game. Backup quarterback in Dallas. After week 1, what you saw out of Dallas is especially they lose their QB. Right. I understand that. Yeah, but you know what? Still, even though it was against the Bucs, what did you see out of that offense? Mostly field goals.
No, I wasn't saying because it was the Bucs. I'm just saying I was just naming who they played, and they just got 3 points. I mean, their offense was fucking putrid.
Yeah,
Dak was playing before he got hurt, and he still was playing like shit. I mean, yeah, the Cowboys always like those pretenders team. They put too much money into one guy. Like Zeke Elliott gets paid way too much money, takes way too much of that salary cap, and he does not perform like he was the Zeke Elliott of old.
Nope.
And the offensive line, all those offensive linemen, at one point they were so good. They had DeMarco Murray, and DeMarco Murray was awesome. He left. He got a huge contract with the Eagles. And then you have Zeke Elliott comes in. They draft him. He has a couple amazing years. And that offensive line, they just get rid of it because they can't afford to keep them. And now they're just struggling again with the offensive line. And they're not as good. And listen, I mean, the Cowboys, that win against the Bengals the defense was really good that game. I mean, the offensive line of the Bengals is shitty too. But, I mean, Cooper Rush isn't, one thing's obviously the backup quarterback comes in. You just think, the team's going to roll over and their season's done. But he filled in last year for Dak too, and Dak got hurt. He was serviceable. I'm not saying he's the greatest thing ever, but he could play.
Right. Yeah, I think that game was surprising. I think the Commanders-Lions game was a tremendous game.
Yeah,
absolutely tremendous game, back and forth all the way. That game was nuts. The Geno Smith and the Seahawks did what Geno Smith does, and there was a complete.
Wait, sorry, go ahead. But that game has a big storyline too.
I was going to say a complete fall off. The Falcons trying to pretend like they're the Falcons of old and play spoiler to the Rams, and they kept it really close, man, down to the wire. So that was a nuts game for me. Bucks finally beat the Saints and get that stigma off that that the Saints have Tom Brady's number and the Bucks number. That was good to see. The Colts get blown out. Yes, it was low scoring. Colts get blown out.
Just go back to the Niners game, Niners-Seahawks. The big story there was Trey Lance is done for the year. And
that's insane.
Jimmy G comes in, and good thing they didn't trade him.
So
he wins. I think the team likes him. I think the players like him.
So me and my brother-in-law were having a conversation about this.
Yeah.
If Jimmy G goes the rest of the year, brings him into the playoffs, let's say, right? At least keeps a winning record. I really think they have no choice but to try to just offload him somewhere else and let him go start somewhere else, because either that or you're just going to allow drama and people to always compare Jimmy G to Trey Lance, and you're just going to have your new quarterback, the future of your franchise essentially is what you think he's going to be, always have to play second fiddle to him, because I mean Garoppolo comes in and just is a master of that offense and hasn't lost a step at all. He should not be a backup. He should be starting on about 20 out of the 30-something teams, 32 teams in this league. He should be a starter on. And they said they were crazy to pay him all that money to be a backup. And obviously they're not that crazy because he's there Trey Lance is injured for the year, and now you got to rest you got to pretty much put all your trust in Jimmy G to lead you to possible playoffs. And I think who better? I don't think there's another backup in the league that's as good, because he should not be a backup. And again, I really think if they don't offload him in the offseason or trade him or do something, they're going to have nothing but problems with the fan base just saying, get Lance out of here. The second he stumbles, the second he has a bad game, the second they lose a game that they should win, they're always going to compare him to Garoppolo, knowing that Garoppolo can step in and perform at a high level. I think they have a problem there with that.
Well, that's the same thing. I mean, we're Jets fans. We saw that when they brought Tebow into New York, and they had uneducated, foolish Jets fans saying, sit down, Mark Sanchez, play Tebow, as if that was going to make anything good happen in green and white. Like, so quarterback controversy is always a bad thing. I mean,
so I have one comment about the Jimmy G thing is that, well, he only has 1 year contract, so he's an unrestricted free agent next year. So you won't have.
Oh, he is okay
next year. So,
but they're gonna have to let him go. No, regardless of what he does, they're gonna have to. It's the Nick Foles situation, but I think the Eagles fucked that up. I believe in Carson Wentz because Nick Foles was clearly the guy.
Well, the problem is that Trey Lance, they invested 3 I think they got 3 first-round picks for him or something like ridiculous. Or 3 draft picks. I don't know if it's 3 first round, but they invested a lot to get Trey Lance. That's why Trey Lance was starting this year, even though Jimmy G probably was the guy he probably should have started. What's that?
Yeah.
What do you say?
It's because they traded up. They traded up.
Yeah, they traded up, and that they got to play him. He didn't play last year. They got to play him this year, right? Was he?
No, 100%. But this is the problem.
Yeah, he took last year. Yeah.
He brings you into the playoff. He makes a playoff run with the Niners. You think that half the fan base at least isn't going to be sitting there saying, it's still not Trey Lance time. Sorry, but it's not. Yeah. You traded up for him. He's not the guy yet. Well, unless he has some kind of amazing, preseason, you're always going to have. So they're stuck. They're depending on how far this team goes this year. You got to almost, as a fan, hope for the betterment of your franchise that they don't make the playoffs and they let Garoppolo go somewhere else because we obviously they're high on Trey Lance.
We have that in New York right now, right? I saw what's his name, Joe Benigno, saying if Flacco continues to play well, then sit Zach Wilson and let Flacco play for the whole year.
No chance.
He's a smart guy, right? He's on the radio, so he's got to be somewhat smart.
He's retired. He's not on the radio anymore. He's got a podcast.
Yeah, just for good reason. Him and Mike Francesa can go be in the old folks' home.
He's got a podcast like us. He's as credible as we are.
We are very not very.
I did find that video. I did find the video of El Lobo Loco and the Jet Lounge going crazy. Credit to Justin for Ocho. It's his video. So that's El Lobo Loco with all the Jets fans there. This is the game winner right here.
Nick, where are you?
I'm sitting by Coach. Watch. They'll show out. You'll see me. There goes sack exchange right there. You just passed by. Yeah, that's me right there. And there goes Coach.
Coach got a smile on his face, man. What do you say? Hold on, we're back.
And the baby's excited. The baby's going to be a Jet fan and break Rook's heart.
Oh, I hope. That would be great.
Absolutely.
That would be phenomenal. I can't wait
to get that.
I want to talk about his New York football Giants, not to be confused with the New York baseball Giants. Far better at their sport than the New York football Giants. But in other news, OBJ in conversations to go back to possibly the Rams, the Giants, and I think there was a third team. I can't recall who they were at the moment. But OBJ's in the news. Obviously, he's a free agent out there. A lot of visits this week. Blake Martinez from the Giants visits with the Baltimore Ravens trying to get a job over there. What do you think about that? See, that's a little weird, isn't it? Like it's in the middle of the season. You would think that if you were going to get hired, like you get cut after the summer, you'd think you'd get picked up by somebody almost immediately, right?
You know what?
That many plays like that where guys sat out for 2 weeks and then got picked up.
No, but I understand the concept of figuring out, where somebody like that would fit in, and if you have holes or not. I don't mind it, especially if they're out there and it doesn't seem like anybody else is picking them up or chomping at the bit yet. So it definitely gives teams the option to explore what they have in their team, and if they think they're sitting there with a hole somewhere, and there's guys out there 2 weeks in just sitting in free agency waiting to get picked up, why not?
Do you think that that's like a red flag when nobody picks you up immediately?
I think it says that you are not somebody that a team wants to take in and disrupt who they're trying to put in that position, or essentially who they think they see themselves going forward with and are happy with. But I think that having the option is never a bad thing, and having somebody that you could, especially at that caliber of player. But I do. Is it suspect? Sure. Yeah, it's a little weird. You would think that nobody, especially those guys, wouldn't be sitting there waiting.
I like Blake Martinez. Honestly, I'm biased because I always like seeing Spanish people playing football. We're never given a chance to do shit.
Yeah, but even OBJ too. I mean, it's one of those things where can he help the team? Sure.
He's coming off an injury,
right? But he's still a player that can help a team. He's still a player that can. You know what I mean?
He's last year. I like Blake Martinez a lot. Actually, surprised the Giants cut him. But I don't think it's a red flag. I think just maybe teams didn't have a need for him at that point. I think injuries happen in the NFL. Eventually, you're gonna get your shot eventually. But I mean, I think he's come back for injury. So maybe people wanted to stay away from it first. But I think eventually he's gonna land somewhere. I think.
Is Blake Martinez coming back from an injury?
Yeah, he is. That's what I'm saying. He's come back from an injury.
Oh, okay.
That's why they waited 2 weeks. To bring him in somewhere. You say he was going with the Packers though?
No. He's got he's going in with the Ravens this week.
Oh, Ravens. Okay, sorry.
But I don't know that he's signing anything. But they brought him in for an interview.
Hey, even if he's a practice squad and eventually put him to active roster, that happens as well all the time in the NFL. So
I think if he gets picked up, he's going straight active.
List for a few weeks.
What's that? Sorry, you both spoke at the same time.
I said he could get signed and end up on the pup list.
Yeah.
I was saying, I think once he gets signed, I think he's going straight in. I think you throw him active right away.
Yeah, I mean, I would think if you have the need to bring in someone got injured, you have to.
No one's picking him up unless they have a need for him to come in right away. Not to say that you let him settle in, figure out the playbook and stuff like that, but as a professional, it's not that difficult.
This Yankee game's over.
This is what these guys do.
I was gonna say we forgot to talk about the Bills that just dominated everybody. The Rams week 1, and now who is it? The Titans. The Titans aren't that great, so
no.
Too much made them good. The only thing they have left is Henry, and it's like, who gives a shit? This isn't a running league anymore.
Yeah, he can't run over everybody all the time. Hold on, I'll be right
back. And then who's the wide receiver they brought in to play to replace AJ Brown after they traded away AJ Brown? They drafted somebody pretty high actually. And ultimately, I don't think that was I didn't think that was a big enough of an addition to make up the difference between AJ Brown losing Corey Davis, and it's I just didn't think that was enough. And I think there's a video actually of draft day when they actually trade away AJ Brown and they show Mike Vrabel and he's like shaking his head like, you traded away my best fucking player, assholes. Right. Yeah, Treylon Burks is the guy that they drafted. And I mean, I'm not saying he can't be good. I'm saying it's a lot to ask a rookie to be a Pro Bowler in his first season. No, and especially if you're looking at that offense, really the only real offensive weapon outside of their running back in a throwing league. Like this isn't 1999.
Yeah, and no one's really terrified of Ryan Tannehill to make plays, especially when he has no receivers either. Like no one's gonna be scared. Your whole defensive scheme is gonna be to take out.
Even if Burks is great, he's got one receiver.
One receiver. That's it. I agree with you. I think the Titans they're 0-2. But speaking of the AFC South, this is the big story.
AFC South sucks so bad. Don't even bring it up because it's not even worth talking about.
No, I only have one thing to say is the Colts cannot play in Jacksonville. It's the funniest thing ever. I think they're like 0-8. So I told TJ this stat, or I think I texted both of you guys this stat. The last time the Jags got a shutout against a team was against the Colts in Jacksonville. The last time the Colts were shut out by a team was in Jacksonville. So they just can't play there. I think it's hilarious.
Jacksonville, it's the smelly Florida water, bro.
It's Jacksonville is like the Cuba of fucking Florida. Like you go to Jacksonville and you see cars from 1954 and you're like, where did I go? Like, why are the houses painted weird colors? I found out that the people in Jacksonville paint their houses pink and blue and lime green so that it's like bright, vibrant colors. So you don't feel as bad about them being dirt poor.
You try to confuse people like, oh, am I in Bermuda all of a sudden? I see all these pastels.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm not.
I lived in Jacksonville for a year, and trust me, it does not look like that. It looks shittier.
The only place that's nice in that area is the downtown area. That's it.
Downtown area is nice, but it's also very dangerous.
That's about it. The downtown area is like 2021. Everything outside of downtown is 1952. Cuba.
Well, the cool part about Jacksonville, it's such a big city, actually, like land area wise, that like parts of Jacksonville you don't realize are part of Jacksonville, like Ponte Vedra, which is where the Players Championship is played. Like that area, it's super nice. It's very hoity-toity, but it's a really nice area of Jacksonville. But go Jags. Duval, baby. Duval.
Oh, God.
Nobody cares about that county either.
I agree. I hope they raise the taxes in Duval County every time somebody says Duval.
Yeah, it's the dumbest thing in the world. Like nobody.
Let's talk about my undefeated Giants. I'm excited about this one. You were saying OBJ coming back to Giants. So I tricked you because you thought that thing I tweeted was real. That's not a real source. He was not saying he's going to come back to the Giants if they bench Daniel Jones.
I don't know if
congratulations, Rook. You like CNN.
I don't know if you tricked me. That guy that was in a suit saying that he's an insider, he tricked me. You didn't trick me at all.
Well, I did trick you because I retweeted it and you believed it. So
because you retweeted somebody else's stuff. It's like he copied somebody else's homework and got a perfect score. Like, yeah, I beat you. You though? Yeah.
You texted me saying, "Can we put this on the list of the agenda for today's episode?"
I wouldn't put past OBJ to sit there and say like,
"I did get you. I got you."
Yeah,
I mean, you can't put something out there that's believable like that and be like, "Oh, I tricked you." You know what I mean?
You put out something like that somebody else tweeted and be like, "I tricked you because I retweeted their tweet." No, he tricked me.
You would have never seen it. So
you don't know that.
But it seems believable. It's like
it really does. It really does seem really believable. Like that's something OBJ definitely would like ask for in order to come back.
If you asked why there was traffic in Staten Island today, and I was like, "Yeah, it was because of me. I got out of my car and I was literally just like slapboxing random people in traffic," you'd be like, "Oh, son of a bitch! I guess he's not making a podcast tonight."
Why is there traffic today? You'd be like, "Because there's a crazy line at Krispy Kreme." I'd have been like, "Oh,
there was a crazy line at Krispy Kreme, and it was worth the wait."
A bad thing.
Yeah, did anyone got Krispy Kreme today?
I got Krispy Kreme today at 6:30 this morning.
No, I didn't get Krispy Kreme. I'm not a psychopath. I knew what it was going to be like.
It was awesome. Right. It was absolutely awesome. Listen, watching about 1,000 donuts get made on that belt, that conveyor belt of just, I'm assuming that's what they have in heaven for breakfast. Just a conveyor belt of hot, fresh, glazed original donuts coming out of Krispy Kreme.
That's amazing.
Yeah, 100%. So I grabbed that. My crew happened to be working right out in front, so we all grabbed Krispy Kreme first thing in the morning. Z100 was set up outside to celebrate the momentous occasion because nothing else was going on in New York City apparently other than a Krispy Kreme opening. But it was insane.
Hold on.
TJ walked in. Wait, TJ walked out of the place, and as he's leaving, he just said to the random guy behind the register, "He's like, is this heaven?" The guy's like, "No, this is Krispy Kreme."
I could have sworn it was heaven,
dude. I will say this, and Joe Sokoa can vouch for me. I bought a dozen donuts. I had like 2 because I don't want to be a big fat slob and eat the whole dozen because I would have if I left them in my car. I ran over, said good morning to my wife and son as they were going into school because they happen to be, maybe 2-minute drive away from there. And my intention was to hand her the remaining 10 donuts. My son, my wife, let her give them to coworkers. And as I walked up, Joe Sikoa was outside and a couple of my wife's coworkers, and I just stood there with the box, and everybody was staring at me as if I just stole the golden idol from the beginning of Indiana Jones. Like what I had in my hands belongs in a museum. I was just handing out Krispy Kremes, and everybody was ecstatic about it. My wife ended up walking into school with about like 4 or 5 left, and my son's like, ooh, and slammed one down on his way in. So I apologize to his second grade teacher for dealing with that sugar rush that started the day out.
All right, well, let's get back to the Giants. Giants 2-0 start.
Why bother?
Daboll shown. Listen, Giants are 2-0, right? Let's give them their respect. They won 2 games. The Panthers
Maybe 2 and 4 in the next 4 weeks.
Nick, you can't see me, but I can see you. You keep making that face as if I can't see you. I can see you. But anyway, Daboll shown. Let's go. 2-0 era. The start of the era. And listen, it wasn't the prettiest game. Graham Gano was the hero. He had like a 52-yard kick to win the game. But he was also beat his former team. But Baker Mayfield sucks. Like there were so many plays that I was like, oh my God, like this sucks. The guy's wide open. And then Baker would miss him by at least 4 or 5 feet. Like overthrow. And I'm like, all right, I guess we can win this game because their quarterback's that shitty. So, hey, listen, a win is a win in the NFL. Doesn't matter how you get it, as long as you get it. So right now, Giants having 2 wins is pretty huge for them. They were not expected to get. I think their over/under was 7.5. So they're 6 away from that, just to beat that. And there's definitely games out that they can win. They're playing Cowboys prime time next week. They got Cooper Rush, as you guys said. Was a backup quarterback, but we'll see what happens. I think they play the Bears after that. And the Bears aren't the greatest team either. So the Giants, realistically, I mean, is it possible they go 4-0? It could be. But they're just a product of their schedule, I think, at this point. You got to beat who's on your schedule, and that's it.
Did you see Go ahead. Did you see the controversy in the Bears game because the dude brought out the towel to wipe down the field so he can get a good place to plant his foot and kick? And they penalized him for bringing a foreign object on the field to influence play. And I brought that up to Mike Westhoff. I was like, hey, coach, did you see that today? And he goes, yeah. He goes, you want to know about the foreign object? He goes, it was a snow game. He's like, and we had a kick and a field goal, I think he said it was. He goes, and I broke off a piece of the bench and cleared a whole pile of snow out of the way. So our kicker had a clean place to kick off of. He goes, you're welcome for that rule. I'm like, wow. Like this guy's, again, Hall of Fame. He has his hand in everything. It's like the mafia.
I agree with you guys too. Sorry, I was away when you guys talking about him being Hall of Fame. He revolutionized special teams. Like, how can you not? He took an entire segment of the game and
an overlooked segment of the game that was just like, hey, you got to kick the ball.
Nobody cared. And that was cool. The story about him is the reason why he took over special teams, because he didn't want that one guy to lose his job. So he's like, I'll do special teams. He'll stay on for defense. And then he took aspects of offense and defense and blocking and put his scheme into place for the kickoffs and punt returns and stuff, which is incredible.
And being able to know what kind of talent he has on the team and who he can use from. Yeah. I mean, listen, he was using Antonio Cromartie out there for special teams. I mean, who does that? Looks at the team that they have, both offense and defense, and says, hey, this is what we can do.
Yeah. And then you have Roger Goodell come in and ruin it because he's like, we have to think about player safety, and kicking's bad, and so is punting. So
yeah. Everything is so bad for the NFL.
Like Westhoff did. But my final statement on the Giants, though, just go back to that, is that I think that last drive that I think they had like 2 minutes or something left over, and they had to basically kill the clock. They needed a first down. Daniel Jones scrambles out. Old Daniel Jones, I feel like, probably would have threw that ball and like got picked off, or just like a drop pass or incomplete pass to stop the clock. Instead, he makes a cut, sees an opening, takes off for him, picks the first down. I think that was a huge moment for Daniel Jones, I think, in his career, in his Giants career right now. I mean, he's played under some really shitty coaches, and he's had some really terrible numbers. I'm not saying he's completely waved off of that or not liable for it because he had such shitty coaches, but he made his mistakes. I think this year he's playing a little bit better. He's not that level of that guy you want. Like, he's not the guy yet, but I think he's improving. I think he's getting there, and it takes time. He's got another offensive system he has to learn, the third in his career. And I think it's some sort of progress. It might be the best progress, but I think slow and steady. I think he's going to get a little bit better.
Good. So keep singing him praises. So when he's your guy and they give him another contract, we get to fucking laugh at you, and you get to deal with Daniel Jones for another 4 seasons.
Listen, I'm saying he's not the guy yet, but he's improving and he's progressing. I'm not a Daniel Jones supporter. I never have been. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but I think he is progressing. I think he's showing signs, which is very good. But other times, then you just look at him and he's like, "This guy is complete dog shit." It was funny. I think they're the broadcasters were talking about it. They're like, yeah, Daniel Jones, every now and then he's going to make really bad plays, but every now and then he's going to show you what he could do, like that Danny Dimes nickname that he got in his first year.
Yeah, Danny Dimes. You want to see a sign? Here you go, Nick. Or Rook. There's your sign. If he's if I hear any Giant fans saying that, oh my God, give this guy a contract, he's the future of the Giants. When
I'm not saying
people
that.
couldn't wait. Yeah, well, you're gonna walk. You guys are gonna walk yourself into that situation. I'm gonna laugh.
Well, I'm still not saying that. I don't think he's still gonna get that huge contract from the Giants, only because I don't think Brian Daboll is like, this is my guy that I want to run my offense. Like, you could see on the sidelines, like every time he fucks up, you just see Daboll's face just like. I got to know. And when he reamed him out in Tennessee when he threw that pick in the red zone, he reamed him out. And obviously he came back. They threw that touchdown pass, but to win the game. But I mean, he's like I said, he's progressing.
Let's be real. They didn't win that game. The Titans lost that game.
Hey,
kick that would have won the game.
It's a W in the books. Their secondary looked awful that game, but I think it was a little bit better last game. But their secondary was horrible in the Tennessee game.
How what are your thoughts on a couple things? One, Kadarius Toney, thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just a product of Gettleman being such a shitty GM, and I think they just don't want him. I think he's not. You're on mute. I can't hear you.
So is he not the guy?
Toney, no. I mean, he wasted a first-round pick on him, which sucks, which is why they're trying to put him in the game and use him. But I think there's issues. There's definitely issues behind the scenes that we're not hearing about.
Yeah,
like they're saying there's playbook issues. He's off the field. He might be maybe like a little bit of a distraction, I guess. Like, I know he wants to be a rapper. I think he wants to be more of a rapper than maybe. And that's true. He does. And I think Dave Gettleman made a big mistake using the first-round pick on Kadarius Toney. And we're seeing it so far. 7 plays in the first game. And I don't think he had many more plays in the second game, right? I don't know what the number was, but he was barely seen as well. And then there was one play I saw where, like, if you really want to play football, you got to make the most of your opportunities. They throw a pass out to him. He quickly turns his head and drops the ball. Like, everyone knows, look the ball into your hands, then go make a move. He was already trying to make a move, and he just drops it. And it's like, that's the frustrating thing about Kadarius Toney is that he has the talent. He can be electric, but he's got to put it all together. He's got to study the playbook. He's got to buy into the team.
And not talk shit until you have something to talk shit about.
Exactly. And that's where he's at. And I think his rap career is more important to him than his NFL career.
I like that comment he made. What is it, last week? He's a lot of people talking that never played it down in their life. And in my head, I'm like, he does realize that like his entire coaching staff has never played it down in their life in the NFL, right? Like, his coach right now never played it down in the NFL.
I wanted to say, like, do you even play any downs in the NFL? Because I think this year you haven't really played that many.
Yeah, seriously. How would you play a complete good game?
I saw some Giants fans saying we're going to run another good wide receiver out of town. And I said, run out of town. The man can't even run on the field without hurting himself. But yeah, run out of town. That's going to happen.
Well, hurting himself or even just getting on the field to play based upon what he's supposed to do, like a playbook. Just read a playbook. If that's
well, I mean, listen, if you're a fan of Kadarius Toney, just I guess you know in the back of your mind that if you get into a drunk driving incident that he has your back because he thinks that's totally okay.
Yeah, he's a clown move for that one too. And then not to mention, listen, you're saying like fans like you're going to run out a good wide receiver or a great wide receiver out of New York. OBJ was completely different than Kadarius Toney. I know he's off-field distraction, but OBJ, when he got on the field, he performed. You know, like he had some of his bad games, but he could perform and he's a good player.
I don't know what kind of clown wears fucking jeans and boots on a boat. Last time I checked, when you're down sailing around, what were they in Miami? You rock some board shorts and flip flops, and at least appear like you want to jump in the water and enjoy the gifts that God gave you. not a fucking photo shoot for I guess Levi and I don't know what's a good boot company at this point. I wear fucking work boots. Yeah, Timberlands.
Well, the funny thing about that picture, because that still picture
torqued
still
on a
haunts
sheer
us as
shirt.
Giant fans. That picture's from 5 years ago, and this is the first time the Giants have a winning record since that picture, since the boat picture that they took. It was like a curse to the Giants. So hopefully we're reversing the curse. But those are my takes on the Giants.
Hey, what about Kayvon Thibodeau? Doesn't have a sack yet.
Did he play last week? I don't think he played last week.
I don't know. I'm not a Giants fan. I couldn't tell you.
No, I'm telling you, I think he's still injured. He hasn't played the last 2 games. That's why he's no sacks.
Okay.
He's injured. Him and Jari are both injured.
How do you feel about this year's draft class?
Right now? I mean, you don't even see Rondell Robinson play that often. So I'm not too much, but I think Kayvon, once he gets healthy, I think he's going to make an impact. And the defense is playing pretty well, actually. I think they're playing pretty decent. Besides, sometimes the secondary gives up too much. But I think you add Aziz Jari, and Kayvon Thibodeau to that defense, I think you're going to see an improved defense there. And Wink Martindale's doing a good job with guys who are not the guys. They have a lot of injuries right now, so he's doing a lot of backups, and he's doing a pretty good job with defensive schemes. I think getting things done. Granted, the teams are not the best teams that are playing, the Tennessee Titans and the Panthers, but they're getting the job done right now, and I'm excited to see the Cowboys.
I just wanted you to acknowledge that they just play the Titans, who have pretty much nobody, and the Panthers that haven't had anybody since Jake Delhomme.
No, Cam Newton. No, I would say this. Yeah, the Giants are going to be a product. If they have a very good record at the end of the year, they're a product of their schedule, and that's because it's how shitty they were last year. They have at least the schedule is going to be low on the NFL, so that's the reason why they're going to be a product of their schedule. But you got to play who you got to play, and that's take advantage of it. And if you get to a playoff position with NFC East, so be it. We get an extra football game at the end of the year. I'll be happy with that. And it's a rebuilding year. That's my last comment. So I'll be happy with whatever happens, but it's rebuilding year, and we'll have a salary cap next year again because this year we have nothing.
Did you guys see? Did you guys see Chad Powers today do his walk on at Penn State?
Yeah. Chad Powers walk on. He was homeschooled. He said he didn't learn too much. His mom wasn't very good at teaching him. And then, but she was a good coach. She was a good coach, though. She's a good football coach. That was funny.
That was actually pretty. That was pretty funny. Honestly, everybody forgets how big of a guy Eli Manning is. He's a tall son of a bitch. I mean, he's just standing over all those people, throwing passes and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, he's definitely got the physique to be a quarterback. No doubt about it. Just looking at him, he's a specimen of a fucking human being. But the hair and the fake nose, I was dying. That was excellent. I do fucking hilarious. And then he took the shot at Tom Brady. He's like, if Tom Brady can play till 44, old Chad can play till 26. It was dead.
Well, I was gonna say, they did this time. He ran a 5.440. They said it's pretty quick for Eli. I don't think he's that fast. I think he's gonna run like a 6 or a 7.
No, I mean he's still a young guy.
The coach was in on it, man.
Who's it? Franklin, right? Franklin was the one who said it. He's like 5'4". I was like, no way, Eli.
Where was that when he was playing?
Maybe they just did. Maybe they just yelled at him what his time was there. But
listen, it was very well done because he actually got some people fooled because when they did it with Chris Bryant, everybody was like, dude, I think that's Chris Bryant. When they did that with what's his name? Who's the other quarterback that they did it with? Everybody figured out real quick that it was who it was. The only other one that I thought was really good was the Greg Maddux one where they were doing the photo shoot and they brought him in just to throw a bolt, hitting because they wanted to get some pictures and video of whoever it was hitting. And Maddux is just throwing like little snap friggin' hook curveballs and sliders. And he's like, this guy got some movement on this ball. It's fucking Greg Maddux, buddy. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah, that was a funny one.
He was just snapping curveballs from 40 feet away and just dropping them in there 12-6. It was awesome. That one was one of the best ones, but I give props to Eli because that was pretty funny. And whoever did his makeup was just like, we're going to make you look absolutely ridiculous.
All right. Well, moving on to the next topic. This is you guys. It's Rangers trade Nils Lundkvist. Did I spell it right? Yeah, right. The V
Yeah. Mhm.
instead of the U.
So I like what we got back. We got pretty much conditional. It's going to be, I think, a top 10 first round draft pick, and I think a fourth round pick as well. So Nils Lundkvist really wasn't. I didn't see him being in the lineup this year again. I didn't see a place for him. Why not give him up to a team that obviously could use him? And I mean, he's a good enough player where he should be out there playing. He didn't fit into what the Rangers' plan was. And to get a first round pick and a fourth round pick, I'm okay with it, man. I mean, keep going with the trend of drafting, getting young guys on this team, and keep the blood young, keep the legs fresh.
Yeah, I agree. Based on what we were running out there on defense, what was he going to do? He would have been a depth piece. And is that what you're looking for with somebody like him, where you can get a first round pick back? And it's almost guaranteed that pick's going to be top 10.
Yeah. And the Rangers already said that they're still in the hunt for essentially a veteran defenseman, that if something becomes available or something it becomes a situation where they can make a move for a veteran defenseman, that they're going to do it, because they know that they want somebody else back there, somebody that they can rely on, so they can put out their, second line D right out the gate. So with that, that in mind, it's kind of, it was one of those trades that just made sense. You really don't see trades, this soon before the season starts. And they made a move, and I think they definitely got, I think they got a steal, essentially. Like I said, top 10 first round draft pick. Sure. Why the hell not?
Yeah, it's actually looking really good. Again, he's not going to play, so it's like,
right. He deserves to play for another team. He deserves to develop and get some ice time, because he is a young talent, and we drafted him in the first round for a reason.
Absolutely. But yeah, that looks good. And then training camp started today.
Yeah, Rangers hockey is 6 days away.
I think regular season starts in 21 days.
Right, but I think the first preseason game is 6 days, if I'm not mistaken.
Something like that, yeah.
So, and then I can't believe we missed this. I didn't even know the Rangers were going to have a Rangers golf outing. I'm sure it was absurdly priced, but that would have been something to try to do.
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, I learned that on Twitter. I'm like, oh shit, the Rangers.
I don't know if I would ever have I would never have the balls to go to that, dude. I'd go there and embarrass myself in front of freaking the Rangers. Yeah, I don't know about that.
No, absolutely not. I think the opportunities are there for golfers like us. When I push a slice onto another fairway, and it's like, oh, sorry about that, guys. Like, oh, hey, Jacob Trouba, what's up, man? It's like, nothing. You almost killed me, dick. Like, oh, sorry about that.
Next thing you know, he's dropping gloves and you're fighting Jacob Trouba.
Dude, I would take a punch from Jacob Trouba just for the story. I wouldn't even have the heart to fight back. Not that I think I would be able to land anything on the guy, but just go ahead, Jake. Punch me in the face. I'm going to tell my grandkids this story when I wake up from my coma. Dude, you can't be a hockey fan and not say you wouldn't take a punch from somebody on one of your favorites.
Breaking news: Aaron Judge is at number 60. He's now tied with the Babe.
Let's go.
And the Yankees lose 8-5. Thanks a lot, Clay.
I can hear my dad. My TV downstairs is a little slow. I can hear my dad screaming.
He just tied the Babe. That's awesome.
So they said the home run balls from him here on out, tying the Babe, and anything going forward could fetch up to like $20 million.
They're numbers.
Insane.
Yep.
They put little tags on them.
Sorry if you hear my daughter grunting right now. We're all quiet.
She's excited, man. She's excited. Sorry for the dead air. We're just watching.
Yeah, this is exciting.
60 home run club, baby.
I'm trying to enter my office right now.
That's crazy.
I got the TV up here. My dad just walks into my office. He goes, "He got it." I know. I'm watching the game.
How many? What do they have? 11 games left?
I think so. I think he's got a good shot at beating. He's 2 more now to beat.
15 games left.
Yeah, he's got a lot of games left. You got another game against the Pirates tomorrow. They're playing the Red Sox over the weekend, so he's not facing superb team.
Well, that's the thing, though. I mean, the opportunity has to be there as well because, especially at the beginning of this game, they were pitching around them big time. And I mean, why wouldn't you pitch around Judge? That should be the gold standard anyway, regardless if he's chasing a home run record. But they were really pitching around him, and we're totally okay with giving up walks to him. But I mean, 15 games left. I think conservatively, maybe 2 to 3 more home runs, no problem.
Yeah, I would think so. And not to mention, he's going for the Triple Crown. Before coming in today, he was only, I think, .001 back of the leader, of the AL leader. So he could have an AL Triple Crown. He leads almost every MLB category. First place. He'd have the home run record, the AL home run record. That's a pretty good year for a contract year. Like that's
tremendous year. Again, if
bet on himself and won.
Dude, listen, there's 2 things that are going to piss me off royally about this season. Number one, I'm sick of hearing people talk about Ohtani like, hey, dude, Judge is leading in home runs. Okay, he's having a historic year. He's batting over 300. And because Ohtani can pitch and essentially, like Nick said, is creating a 6-man rotation, not because, that's what works for the team. It's out of necessity to make this guy relevant in the organization. Okay. Ohtani is a good player, a good hitter, okay, and a good pitcher, but that does not discount everything that Judge is doing this year. And if Judge doesn't get the MVP this year, it is complete and utter bullshit and is just we're living in
earmuffs.
We're living in crazy world if he doesn't get it. And then if the Yankees decide not to pay whatever the hell Judge wants and Judge goes off to another team, I wash my hands of this organization until the Steinbrenners are no longer involved because it's not George's team clearly, and they don't want to spend the money. And shame on the fans if Judge walks after this year and the fans still go out and pay that ridiculous money to see them play and pay the $13 beers and $9 hot dogs and spend $400 for you and your family to go watch a Yankee game, $500 minimum if the team's not going to spend the money on the product on the field. So, I mean, the Yankees have definitely put themselves in a situation. If they let Aaron Judge walk, I'll root for the fucking A's or some shit until the Steinbrenners are no longer involved.
By the way, this is TJ fighting Jacob Trouba. I'll let you decide who's who.
The guy has better hairline than me.
Matt said number 60. Can he go on a tear and catch Bonds? What is that?
No
He's
chance.
got 11 home runs in 15 games.
There's 15 games left. This morning, there were 16 games left. The best he'd ever done in a 16-game stretch was 13 home runs.
Imagine. That'd be fucking insane if he did that.
What does Bonds have, 74?
Was it 73?
Bonds has 73.
So he's got to hit another 13. So he's at 14 in 16 games, basically.
So with regard to what TJ was saying when I said what I said about Ohtani, basically what I said about Ohtani was a lot of fans talk about how
and then just kidding, the Cubs won't spend the money, they're too cheap. That's true. That is true.
A lot of fans, a lot of the commentary around Ohtani is because he pitches and he hits, you actually get an extra player on the team that normally wouldn't be there because he takes up 2 roster positions essentially by being one player, except for the fact that because he plays the way he plays, they have to carry an extra starter. So now most MLB rosters are built with like the last 2 starters kind of being like mediocre to bad, except for the Angels, where it's the last 3 starters are mediocre to bad, right? You want your first 2 guys to be studs. So now actually, I take it back. The Angels are the last like 3 to 4. So they've now lengthened the amount of starts they get between good guys. Because what you want is it's like batting. Judge bats first because they want to get their best hitter the most at bats. It makes sense in certain circles. Like if you look at it that way, it kind of makes sense. It doesn't really make sense because you want him to have more RBIs as well. So you want him batting third when there's people on in front of him. But with pitchers, it's the same deal. The reason that your best starter is your first starter is because you want to get him the most starts.
Yep.
So by lengthening your your starting rotation, you're actually getting your best pitchers less starts. So Ohtani kind of does the opposite, and now guys are stuck in a 6-man rotation, which now they've got to get used to. He doesn't, because in Japan they play with a 6-man rotation, but now they have to. And you think about something like Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole doesn't like to play 10 minutes late, let alone 24 hours late. So if he's on any other franchise other than the Angels, you're basically looking at it like, well, you guys that are in this pitching rotation, you're going to have to figure out how to get comfortable because of this one guy. Or he's going to be a spot
24
starter,
to 48 hours later.
or he's going to be a spot starter, and you can just plug him in where you want, and you have that 4th or 5th guy just sit down whenever you feel like it, because you can't fuck up the Garrett Coles of the world. They're not going to stand for it. They really aren't. The Max Scherzers of the world, they're accustomed to doing things their way, and they're not going to have somebody that's I guess a halfway pitcher. That's how they're going to see it. Pitchers are prima donnas, mess their flow up. Like, I'm not going to sacrifice my stats for this guy. You know, and then now you have to carry an extra starter, and then he can't even. I think it would be a little different if he was a reliever and he could pitch whenever. But the fact that he has a permanent spot in the rotation kind of limits his availability left and right.
No, absolutely.
He's a great player. Don't get me wrong. He's a great player when he can stay healthy. But you know, his pitching and hitting in games that don't matter. And honestly, the Angels were out of the playoff race as soon as they decided to have a season this year. I mean, it's different. It's different than in New York. It's different. You know, it's like Harrison Bader had a hell of a game today.
I actually meant to talk about that before. Since you're talking about it now, Nick, he comes in. I mean, listen, we've been dealing with Aaron Hicks all season long, strikeouts, not getting on base, not playing a great center field. Harrison Bader comes off the IL, hasn't played in forever. Really had 2 hits, 3 RBIs, and I think and a run scored. Like, that's a great line from your center fielder. Like, you don't need that production there. You want him to be defensive, but you don't need it as a Yankees, because you have, state guys like Stanton and Judge. And this guy comes in and just fucking rakes already. It was great. I loved it.
Go, we got bases loaded, nobody out.
Bases loaded, nobody out. Down 3.
Stanton's struggling big time. He's over 3
struggling.
I think 3 strikeouts.
Dude, did you see his at bat before though? Like his back foot sliding out. He doesn't look comfortable at the plate right now.
This would help him out if he was able to do something here, get his confidence back. This guy, he walked 2 straight guys though, right? This pitcher. So I mean, he's no, he's not pitching that great, but
no, he gave up a hit to Torres, and he gave up a hit to Donaldson. And I
thought he walked Torres. He walked Torres. It's a lot of dead.
Donaldson's been putting some good swings on the ball.
He has. I think. Listen,
I still can't stand his douchey attitude, but yes,
if he gets hot September into October, he's like a guy that could like help carry the Yankees. If you're not going to pitch to Judge in the postseason. Right now, you pitch to Stanton because he's not hitting anything. So Donaldson, you need a guy like that to get hot. Torres is playing really well again after that slump in July and August. So the Yankees are really looking, make some moves late here in the season, get hot at the right time, go into October with a decent, decent lineup, guys who are hot. So
talking more about the Yankees, Frankie Montas was put on the 15-day IL today.
I think Cashman got fleeced on that one. I don't think that was it. He hasn't really done much. Montas. I
hate to be the I told you so guy, but I had a feeling he was going to end up like Sonny Gray. And as the days go on, it's looking more and more very gray. Get out! And the walk-off grand slam for John Stanton.
Wow. Let's go, Yankees.
Walk-off. I just said the Yankees are going to lose this game 8-5 because after Judge's home run. Holy shit.
How about that?
That is insane. A 5-run bottom of the 9th to take a 9-8 win. That is incredible.
My father just heard it. It's on a delay downstairs. My father just heard it. I don't know if you guys heard him scream yes.
I didn't hear it, but I knew something happened because you said something. My TV is always delayed compared to yours. Holy shit. What a 9th inning.
Yeah, dude, that scream can only mean one of 2 things. A Yankees win or somebody else got shot in Roseback.
Oh, that is awesome. That is funny.
Only
That
two
was-
people ever got shot in my neighborhood. One got shot by the police, and the other one got shot by the borough president's grandkid.
Jesus. Matt's comment Yankees classic. That's definitely going to be Yankees classic for years to come. That was
speaking about Matt, you know it's classic going 1-4 in our picks. Thank you for playing, Matt.
Oh, yeah, we'll get
Can we
to
get a
that.
recap on that? I mean, I'm not involved in the pick'ems this year because I don't have a gambling problem, but you guys are. Give me a recap. Come on.
Sorry about the low hanging fruit, Matt, but it was there. I had to take it. So this week, I again went 3-2. So my record is 6-4 in the 2 weeks of NFL betting. Rook went 2-3 this week, bringing him to 5-5. Not bad, nice even.
I'll take
it. Not down money, not up money. He's right there. And Matt with a 1-4 week, bringing him to 3-7. So I think
4 games on the 500. Listen, I'm this. We're gonna do so. We do this picks. If anyone's watching this, if you like gambling picks, you're gonna want to tune in. We're gonna do it every Sunday. We film it on Saturday night. We go into we replay it. We play it on Sunday at 10:30, and then we replay it again on our YouTube channel at 11. So there's 2 different versions of it that'll play. We do picks. I'm gonna start going more in depth into this, but I was looking up some stats so far for this year. It's so hard to bet on sports. Like with the fact that we're given 5 games and we're trying to pick the games that like we think are gonna hit out of all these games. You can't bet on every game. Like if you're a gambler, you don't bet on every game. You bet on the ones you like. Don't get too crazy. Don't bet over your head. But I'm looking at the stats so far for this year. It is, I mean, I can't believe it's almost like 55%. Like road dogs on the road are like either under 50% or at 50%. Home favorites are under 50%. I'll get onto this on Saturday. For our Sunday show. I'll get onto it next time we record. I'm gonna show the stats for our gambling show, but tune in because you're gonna be like, holy shit, this is why gambling on sports is so hard. I mean, it's fun, of course it is. I enjoy doing it, but you just never know. The NFL is such like a wild sport where it's like baseball and NFL are always like. NFL is the most fun to bet on, but they're both very hard to bet on. Baseball is like one of the hardest sports to bet on. Like you can't like go in there and just be like, I'm going to pick the winner. You have to find other ways to bet baseball. Either bet it with at bats, bet it 5 innings, bet it 6 innings, bet props, stuff like that.
I mean, look at the game we just saw. We just saw a game where, by all rights, they were down 4 runs in the 9th inning, and they just scored 5 runs with no outs in the 9th. That's crazy.
Like if you would put a bet, I bet before that inning started, before Judge hit the home run, the Yankees were probably plus like 500 or more, maybe even in the thousands. Like if you put $10 on that before the 9th inning happens, you definitely just made a huge profit.
Oh yeah,
I mean it's tough. If you listen, I know TJ right now he's above 500. He's a little over 50%. I'm at 50%. Matt's below. If you're at 50% or like 50, if it's 60%, you're a good picker. Like you're a good gamble picker. I think that's where we typically are at. I know I had a below 500 week, but I had one of those weird games. The Rams. The Ram game was they were up 31-3 going into the 4th quarter, and they ended up barely winning 31-25. That it happens. It's bad beats, but then you also have the good beats where TJ was looking at that they're down 13. The Jets are with 2 minutes left in the game, and they're winning the game outright. So the plus 6.5 looks like a genius. But if you talk to TJ earlier in that game, he probably felt like an idiot for taking the Jets at plus 6.5.
No, I was having a good time that whole day, so I didn't give a shit. But I feel like a moron for taking the Colts, that's for sure.
What was Matt's record again?
Matt is 3-7.
7.
I'm waiting for the comments to pop up and just be like all expletive.
Well, he wrote, I'll be on Saturday and I have a lot to say. And then he put Ravens was bad. The Ravens, that's another bad beat. Like I think a bad beat was the Rams one, but the Ravens one was really bad because I think the spread was only 2.5 for them. And they had it within like the last minute, and the Dolphins scored that touchdown. So Matt, I don't believe that one. You said Bengals should have won, but you can't say that they weren't even competitive. So like you can't be like, oh, Bengals should have won that game. They didn't even come close to covering.
Bengals should have won like before the game started, before they flipped the coin. Yes, the Bengals should have won. But once that game started, it was over.
Yeah, but you can't say hindsight. Like I should have won that game. No, because we're well beyond that. You can't be like they should have won that game.
Right. It's not like a bad fumble or a bad penalty or something like that dicked you. They weren't in that game.
Yeah.
By the way,
that's
gentlemen,
what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
By the way, gentlemen, I'm not sure if you're tracking this or aware of this right now, but Aaron Judge is currently the American League leader in average. So he's currently the Triple Crown winner. If the season ended right now, Aaron Judge would win the Triple Crown.
That'd be
at least for the American League.
Sit him.
Who did that? What was that? Was that Jose Reyes, right?
Jose Reyes did like 6 games left, right?
Yeah.
Also, we didn't take any breaks today. So let me just play one commercial. Right, I have an actual commercial, so we'll play this one commercial real quick. Then we'll come back. We'll talk a little golf. President's Cup coming up. So
hey now.
Stay with us.
Fellas, the fantasy football draft season is right around the corner. CeeDee Lamb is good, but have you seen these beautiful balls? It's time to get your snake looking right for this snake draft with sponsors of today's show, Manscaped. The leaders in below-the-waist grooming have created a championship lineup with the Performance Package 4.0. Join the 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and get ready for kickoff by going to manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping with the promo code BellyUpFantasy. Inside the Performance Package 4.0, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance Boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold all your goodies. Tom Brady didn't come out of retirement for you to have hairy balls. So slot it at the quarterback and get 20% off and free shipping when you use the promo code BellyUpFantasy at Manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping when you use the promo code BellyUpFantasy at Manscaped.com. It's time to put the PP back in a PPR league.
That's a great advertisement.
I love that one. So we have, as always, we're going to talk golf. So we have Piper Golf. Go to piper.golf, promo code SCORE10 for 10% off your entire purchase. And also check out Pins and Aces. Use promo code SCOREPOD. I think it's a 10 or 15% off. But ScorePod, Pins and Aces. Pins and Aces, I think, just came out with a new line of some stuff.
Yeah, Sasquatch.
Yeah, Piper just came out with hats, bucket hats, and visors. So check them out as well. But we are going to discuss the President's Cup. I love the President's Cup. I went to the President's Cup a couple of years ago, TJ. Have you been to the President's Cup before?
I have not. I am rocking my Piper Golf Pipe It hat. That's meant for you to pipe it in the fairway and not pipe it like a certain president's son. But I digress. It is the President's Cup. And
TJ, tell us for the President's Cup because I'll be right back. I have to change the diaper.
All right. So the President's Cup, essentially USA versus an international field. And it's always fun to see this aspect of golf. It's always fun to see, the two ball, 4-ball, best ball, alternate shot, the whole shebang. It makes it very fun. It makes it very entertaining. If you are a fan of sports betting, I mean, you could sit there and bet every hole. It's very fun to be a bettor during the President's Cup. I like this type of team event. The players are big into it. They get absolutely crazy. And by the time Sunday rolls around, it is, especially hopefully it's close. It becomes just one of those things where every shot matters. And it's just, I guess, as exciting and as pumped up and adrenaline filled as golf can get. I understand we're talking about golf here, but it's definitely a good time. It's definitely fun. I'm honestly a little disappointed. Anybody that says that the live guys not playing doesn't matter, you're full of shit. Cam Smith not playing, Bryson DeChambeau not playing, any of these guys not playing hurts the game. It doesn't help the game. I'm not going to sit there and say that, especially the American side of things, it's not a stacked field, because it is. Max Homa, you got Patrick Cantley, you got some phenomenal players, Scotty Scheffler. So the talent is definitely there, but I'm definitely disappointed knowing that the live guys aren't invited, aren't playing. Dustin Johnson's of the world. It's definitely irritating. Speaking towards that, I think it's funny because they, all the press seems to be about Live Golf, and they ask these PGA guys, and they asked Justin Thomas today if he would be interested in doing like a PGA Tour versus Live Golf, type of event, like a President's Cup type of deal. And he said, no, absolutely not. That's not good for golf. You're just pushing the bullshit agenda, the blackballing of players because they moved on to another tour. You want to push the monopoly of the PGA Tour. That's fine. You want to be faithful to the PGA Tour. Great. More power to you. That's your opinion. That's your stance. I have no problem with that. But to say blackballing players and blackballing a lot of top 50 guys is good for the game, you're out of your mind. You're pretty much stalling out the game of golf, and it's getting irritating at this point. Rook's not back yet. I thought he was going to have a take.
Not, but yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Listen,
sorry, I'm back. Sorry, I said I was changing the diaper. Yeah, no, I agree with you, T. 100%. I was good. That's my main point of the President's Cup this year is like, I'm still excited for it, but like the odds right now, Bennett, you can't just bet USA to win because the odds are so in their favor because they have so many top guys. The international team now, President's Cup is everyone international except Europe because Europe plays in the Ryder Cup again, so it's Europe versus USA in the Ryder Cup. So you're missing out on Cam Smith because he's obviously outside Europe. And it sucks not having those live guys. You don't have Dustin Johnson. You don't have Phil Mickelson. Phil Mickelson may not have played, but usually he's like a captain, the Ryder Cup or a President's Cup captain, or
he's in the locker room for sure.
And he's in the locker room. And a couple of years ago, how funny was it when he had the USA pants on? I think they won the Ryder Cup, right? I think it was a couple of years ago. They won the Ryder Cup, or they were in some sort of international competition. He was wearing the USA pants. They're at the after party. They're all partying, whatever. And someone puts the beer can on their head, and Phil Mickelson does the full over, like kicks the can off his head over the guy's head, standing straight up. Like one of the most athletic things I've ever seen Phil do. But
dude, Patrick Reed, I mean, listen, love him or hate him, Patrick Reed gets hyped, dude. He is hyped for these events, and that's exactly what you want. That's what furthers the game of golf is, you get that excitement level that you generally don't get out of golf or golf fans. You generally don't get that type of pumping up the crowd and, wanting to get people into it and people chanting USA and stuff like that. And, at least for the Ryder Cup, the Europeans chanting and stuff like that. And now the international, you want those hype up guys. You want those guys with some, clout, and to have them not be there, it hurts. It definitely hurts the sport. I don't care what the PGA says, and these PGA guys are happy that they're not there, and the hell with them. The only reason they're saying that is because these guys had the balls to move over to another tour and get paid, and they're pissed they're not. And the PGA Tour is taking a lot of different aspects from Live Golf and trying to implement them and trying to, inject some more money into the tour. Amazingly, they're finding more money to inject into some of these purses. I wonder where that came from. Oh, that's right. They were holding on to the money the whole time. So I'm not going to sit here and say they're underpaid. But when you see the potential of what you can get paid, especially since Live Golf is essentially just, for fun, it means nothing. There's no world points, and these guys are taking down purses as if it's a friggin' major every tournament.
It's insane. And that upsets me too with Justin Thomas. I know some of these guys are like, they're just a shill for the PGA.
Yeah.
And it kind of sucks because like it would be awesome to see Live versus PGA. Like would the Rock have turned down a fight against Booker T when it was WWE versus WCW because he didn't want to go against WCW? Like it's stupid analogy, but it's a similar thing. Like it's better for the fans, right?
The PGA is losing the situation. They're 100% losing the situation. They're losing fans. They can pump this nonsense all they want. They tried the aspect of, oh, look where the money's coming from. Look where all the money comes from. You guys, the PGA Tour isn't like they're friggin' raising money for St. Jude every week, and they're just taking a little bit to get by and pay for their plane tickets. There's money coming from all different aspects of the world, and not all of it is has the best reputation or is the cleanest place for money to come from. So they tried hard saying, the Saudi aspect of it, that failed on them. Yeah. And at this point, the fans are just fed up because you know what? We want to see golf. We want to see more competitive golf. And to say that nobody would be interested to see Live versus the PGA Tour and the hype around that, oh my God, the smack talking would be tremendous.
I love that reminds me of there's always a conversation about talking about WWE versus WCW. When DX invaded WWE, Eric Bischoff's biggest regret was that he didn't let them into the building.
Yeah, WCW.
It was on his show when WWF invaded WCW. It was on his show, and he's like, "Fuck, I should have opened the gate because, like, what would have happened? Everybody would have been watching my show because it was on my show." And you're right; it's the same thing. Like, you want to see the rivalry, just like you want to watch the Yankees play the Red Sox. Imagine you only got to see the Yankees play against themselves,
right?
Yeah, you know, it's or the Yankees versus the Mets. Like, when you never get to see it, it becomes that much more special.
And TJ, I don't know about you, but I'm a huge fan of like team golf. Like, I love the Ryder Cup. I love the President's Cup.
Dude, alternate shot is awesome. Alternate shot is tremendous. Best ball is even more tremendous. And that's the thing that the best ball aspect of it. How do you not have Bryson DeChambeau out there going like, oh yeah, I'm going for green
drives.
Yeah.
It's insane. But I mean, moving on to this, I know we could talk about Live all day. And that's the last point about Live is like the PGA. It's never going to go away unless you embrace them. Like every time you have a tournament, the talk is going to be PGA versus Live. If you want it to go away, either embrace them or do something to help the conversation always turn towards Live. Like your PGA Tour golfers are always going to be answering questions about guys in Live, and if they want to compete against guys in Live, will they go into Live? Like it's always going to come up. Before they better embrace them before.
Dude, and don't act like Live tried to do this, you know, as a FU to the PGA Tour. They tried to get the PGA Tour involved. They tried to make their schedule around the PGA Tour's big time, you know, events, not just majors, but you know, their bigger weekends in the tour. They tried to work around it, and Greg Norman reached out, and they just turned a blind eye and turned their back on Greg Norman because they want no part of it because they want a monopoly on it.
Exactly. But we could, like I said, we could sit here all day, talk Live, but let's get to betting tips. I'm not going to make any picks. You can't really make picks here.
Not yet, because you don't even know who's playing who, what the teams and matchups are. Right.
So, I mean, you could obviously bet the teams, but you're not going to bet. Like we said before, there's no money in it. There's no the odds in the USA to win is just too high. You're not going to risk, you know, how much money just to win a couple hundred, you know.
Right. If you have a good feeling about the international team, I mean, good for you if you really feel that way.
And go ahead.
You could make some money, but other than that,
and
it's not there yet.
The last President's Cup was overseas. I forgot where it was, but it was the international team actually had a really good shot at winning it, and they pissed it away in the last day. So, good luck betting on the international team when they choked it away last time when they had a huge lead. So,
I will say this. I like seeing Kevin Kisner in this situation because he's very good at these type of events. So to see Kiz out there competing for the Americans, that's definitely a plus in my book.
Yeah, and the thing is too, so if you watch during the weekend and you see USA's trailing a little bit, maybe the odds would move into your favor. So maybe you want to put a bet on the USA at that point. But you got to keep watching and see if the international team takes the lead.
But it's awesome, dude. Just the hole-to-hole betting. I mean, you can find some really good odds on it.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no. So the hole-to-hole betting. I mean, and I use FanDuel. We kind of gear towards FanDuel. So FanDuel has a lot of stuff where it's just, you know, you can bet who's going to score lowest on the hole. You could bet scoring a par or under par or over par, and I mean the odds are there. So if you want to take a risk and say like, you know what, who's up right now? You know what, screw it. No, he's going over par on this one. Yeah, I know the odds are long. Over par on this one. It happens. It happens a lot. Why not? You can definitely make some money betting hold to hold on this game, and not even a lot. Just throwing, you know, if you're betting for fun, a $5 or $10 unit, you could sit there all day and have a great time and end up ahead or down maybe a little bit, but it makes it even more exciting, and you're more, you know, just zoned in on what's going on.
Yeah, and I did once. Me and my brother we watched one of the like, remember they were doing like, was it Tiger Woods versus Phil, and then they did Rory and I think Dustin versus somebody like Matt Wolf and somebody else. What they call the challenge or whatever it was they were doing the golf.
Right.
But they basically, you do hold the whole betting on that. And what we would do is we would just bet that every hole would be even, because they're not going to win every hole. Like each team is not going to win every hole. There's going to be winners of the holes, but no one's going to like take off and run 8-0. You know, like it's not going to be like you're going to lose all your money. So if you bet even of each person winning even holes, you're more likely to win on that. Granted, the odds aren't that high because it's like probably 1 minus 150, sometimes minus 250. It's like a par 3. But if you just bet either who's going to win the hole, whether it's this team, like international team or USA team for whatever matchup it is, or if you bet the even for the whole, that works out too, because the even eventually it does even out your money when you put a $5 bet on it. If you just bet it, if you follow it the whole way through, I'm like, they don't play the full 18 usually in those competitions. Usually they're probably done by like 16, 17.
Well, yeah, people win, 3 with 2 left and stuff like that.
Yeah, they'll win 3 and 2, 4 and 2, but you could still make money on those evens because it's not gonna. Like I said, the score is never going to be like 10-0, and they're going to end 9-hole. It's going to be there's going to be evens. There's going to be.
It might happen this year. He might only get 9 holes out of the Americans this year.
And the thing is, like, if you feel good about a hole and you're like, all right, I know this guy is able to get close, like this is a short hole or short par 4 or whatever it may be, then take a shot, because if you bet a team just to win a hole, it's usually going to be plus money, whether it's like plus 150 or plus $200. So if you got lucky and just guess a team to win that hole and you put $5 on it, you're winning $10 to $15 right there, and then bet evens the rest of the way, and you'll be solid. It's a solid plan. But you got to stick to it too. Like, don't deviate from it. Like, if you're going to bet evens every hole, don't all of a sudden start picking who's going to win, because then you're gonna mess yourself up in your betting line. So, but it's definitely a fun event to bet on. But definitely check out the matchups, because once the matchups come out, then you could see who's likely to win, who's likely to lose.
Yeah, we'll be all over it on Twitter. So if you want to follow that, if you want to goof around with us, throw a couple bets down, we'll be all over it.
And they're playing in North Carolina this year. They're playing at Quail Hollow.
Yep.
When does it start? Does it start Friday or Thursday? Or the 22nd, so Thursday it starts.
Yeah.
And then ends on the 25th, which is it is Sunday. So it actually is 4 days. I didn't realize it would be 4 days.
Yeah, man.
I thought it was 3 days for some reason. I guess maybe the Ryder Cup's 3 days. But it's fun. It's a fun event. And
it's a lot of fun.
Live is great too. Like, it's a really good fun time. And go USA all the way, obviously. Not international guys. Fuck that. These colors don't run.
Hell no.
Rook was totally going to root for the international guys.
He might have.
No way. Never.
It's questionable.
Never.
He has a Tony jersey on, and he's rooting international, and he's the first one in line to buy his album.
Wow.
I would never. I don't own a Tony jersey. I would never buy one.
What about a Tony rap album?
No.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
All right, Nick. I think that's about it. Why don't you take us on home?
Last thing, congratulations to Great Britain winning their qualifier for the World Baseball Classic for the first time.
Nice.
So they'll participate next year at the World Baseball Classic in their pool. So congratulations to Great Britain. That's awesome for them and our buddy Johnny Lawrence out there in the UK. We'll catch you again next week over here. Same bat time, same bat channel, and maybe we'll have a special guest, Anthony the Rook. Rook, thanks for showing up on the show this week. We really appreciate your time. It's always nice to have you around.
Before we wrap up, fuck Zach Hampel. Fuck that guy.
That's true. Something we can all get behind.
I think we're actually gonna. TJ and I were actually talking about replacing Rook with Coach Westhoff.
You know what? If you guys did that, I probably wouldn't be upset.
Live from his boat in Fort Myers.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. We'll catch you again next week. Thanks for spending this time with you. See ya. Over and out.